At an age where it is easy to be consumed by negative influences, many teens in Philadelphia choose an alternate route. Through poetry, teens express themselves in a healthy and constructive way.
Poetry affects me in many ways. I've been writing it since I've been a child, since I could write, and it's one of my favorite things to do is write poetry and listen to it.
It depends on the music or the poetry. I can't say that each and every single poem affects me in the same way. Same thing with music. It can affect you in different ways depending on what type of music or poetry it is. Such as if it's a dark poem, I might feel like, gritty afterwards. If it's like a happy song, I might feel happy afterwards.
Everyday life experiences. Everyday life experiences. Something that makes me very, very happy, or something that makes me very, very sad, or in between. Anything that I feel moves me. Whenever I feel something inside me that says, "Oh God, I have to write this out." Whatever experience that is what inspires me to write.
Poetry has always been my way of kind of dealing with anything that I've gone through. So to me, writing has always been my journal. So for me, poetry, if I'm going through something, I'm not just going to journal about it, but I'm going to write a poem about it as a way of kind of coping with whatever things I'm facing, whatever obstacles, whatever I'm trying to make sense of. But it's also become kind of a source of entertainment and play. Like, I write for fun now, and that's something that's happened since I've started working for PYPM. I've seen so many amazing youth poets do persona poems and take on characters and really not only tell someone else's story, but have fun with kind of coming at writing from a different angle.
Like the charisma that you can make your own persona and stuff like that. Like you could just do anything. You could be yourself. You could be somebody different and just come up with different lines to impress or just have fun. Just have fun with it, basically.
Many teens feel as though their thoughts are not listened to or do not have an adequate environment to speak. The Philadelphia Youth Poetry Movement provides a dedicated time and place for teens' voices to be heard.
From finding myself alone, I am from creating nothing to creating something from nothing. I am from building up from broken down.
It's a place where I feel safe to express myself, and it's a place where I can learn different writing tools and skills I can use in my day-to-day, adventures, job interviews, whatever. It's an amazing place.
When they get to actually realize that inside there's a better classroom, a bigger curriculum that's bigger than any school could ever give you, when they realize and see the value in their voice, through creative expression, they get to see that it's not just about my voice. I'm going to value myself as a person. I'm going to value my thoughts. I am important.
Even the most shy of PYPM participants feel welcomed with a sense of belonging by their open-minded, non-judging peers. Every student has the opportunity to be comfortable, even while reading their most personal poems.
We pop some bubble of heteronormativity somewhere. Somewhere.
Slam is a poetry competition. It's where a bunch of poets or teams of poets get up and they perform, and they're judged by members of the audience on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being what's grade 1 is that poem shouldn't have never been written. And the scores are added up and they move through rounds, and there's a winner at the end.
Poetry is a positive and surprisingly popular outlet for teens in Philadelphia.
Something really powerful happens when you put a microphone in front of a kid's face. Some of these kids have never had a chance to speak to an audience ever. They're not used to being listened to. And so to put them in a situation where there are maybe hundreds of people who it is only socially acceptable for them to sit down and listen to you is mind-boggling for some of these kids who aren't even heard in their families. And so the biggest change I see is the individual growth in these kids.
Really educate a person on that. That's coming from your heart. How you going to educate somebody about their feelings? That's how they feel, right?
Story, so here I go. You see, I go to that dungeon on the hill. You enter a scholar, but some exit dungeon dragons. I've been to the school for 4 years, so I guess you could call me a senior dragon. These teachers, they try to wrap chains around necks because They really stopped caring after last year.
Keep writing.